Hey guys, Universal here, and it's time for my annual 20-minute yap. This one might be a little bit longer than 20 minutes because in today's video, I will not only be going over balance changes, I'll also be doing a tier list. It's only been 1 week into the update, but I've gotten a pretty good idea of where I think each fruit lies. You guys can tell me in the comments if you have any disputes with where my rankings are. Obviously, there are always people who disagree with me, so I love to hear you guys' opinions down in the comments. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into these balance changes. First off, we have Flame Flight, inverted controls for console fixed. I heard allegedly that's not even fixed, so we're just gonna ignore that. Darkness, Korozu range nerfed, so you know, just less range on the Korozu, the freaking grab on base dark. Grilled dough is now cancelable, so now you can't just hold grilled dough for 10 years and then it'll just go off when your opponent hits you. You actually have to use it before your opponent hits you. We have Dragon V2 Bolo Frenzy, only guard breaks when flaming torches on. That's a lie. I tested the move. Don't listen to that. That doesn't even matter. Dragon Twister is now cancelable. So if you just sit there and hold Dragon Twister and your opponent hits you, then it just won't go off. So you won't have like a free, like the most free stun trade in the game. And also the transformation now requires 40% of your mode bar. So that's pretty nice because Dragon V2 is an extremely strong mode. So they had to like put somewhat of a kind of a limit on it. Rokugan is now cancelable. The M1s were also supposed to be fixed with Leopard, and when I do my tier list, I'm not basing Leopard off of the one-shot combo that it currently has. It's gonna get fixed whenever the owner decides to, drop a patch update. But Rokugan is now cancelable. So let's say you just sit there holding Rokugan and then you get hit, it won't go off. And when these things say cancelable, guys, this only affects the people who are like just sitting there holding the skill, waiting for their opponent to attack them for a stun trade. That's how that works. Soul movement speed has been nerfed on Soul, which it was needed. I'm not gonna lie, it was moving way too fast, like way too fast. Enthrall Grass hitbox nerfed. Enthrall Grass was also giving wind up time, so Enthrall Grass just caught a huge nerf. Scorching Sickle had its damage nerfed, and it also had its hitbox reduced because it was like almost undodgeable even with you reacting on time. Let's see, Crimson Pillar damage fixed. It's only fixed in base. I'm pretty sure the mode still doesn't do the right amount of damage, which is hella weird, I won't lie, but it is what it is. Zeus Meadow is now unblockable, and it has in lag now, so now you can just kind of like land Zeus Meadow if you need that one soul at the start of a match. But also it's kind of like you can't combo extend off of it anymore, so it's kind of a trade situation. All right, anyways, also he didn't put it on here, but Mazer Cannon now takes 8 souls instead of 5. Anyways, now we have Nika, Red Rock damage buffed, Rock Gatling damage nerfed, and spinning top cooldown increased by 2 seconds. He also has down here, let me show you guys, Rising Bolt stun nerfed and Rising Bolt cooldown increased very slightly. Like it's like 2 extra seconds. It doesn't really affect your gameplay at all with Gear 5. So Gear 5 is still really strong. Venom M1 in lag increased. This is the same case with Leo. They were both supposed to get their M1s, like they were supposed to get in lag, but they don't actually have it. So it kind of is an is what it is situation. It's unfortunate, but what can we do? Let's see. Chloral Frenzy is now blockable, which is going to really affect how I place Venom on my tier list, because now Venom is actually somewhat balanced for a mythical, especially with that change to Chloral Frenzy, because I'm not gonna lie, Chloral Frenzy being unblockable is probably the biggest carrying factor on Venom. Let's see. Then we got Love Heartthrob heal nerfed. I think you heal like maybe like 10% less or something, and Heartstrings damage was nerfed. So Love is still pretty much the exact same as it was before. The owner didn't touch the range or anything, so Love is still a pretty strong fruit. Expected it to get more nerfs for how many people were complaining, but didn't really get that many nerfs. Now we have Lightning, Crushing Judgment stun buffed, so like people don't walk out of it as much. Lightning Palm range buff, just a slight Lightning Palm range buff, nothing crazy. Lightning Palm being blockable mid-move fixed, and Lightning Palm final kick is guaranteed. So that's like after image combo where even if they fall out midway or you get launched away midway, the last hit is always gonna hit, which I'm not gonna lie has made Lightning much better. Oh my god, it helps so much. I'm not gonna lie, like I never realized how much Lightning was sold by the fact that the last hit of Lightning Palm just didn't hit, and it's a really good change for freaking Lightning Palm. Leopard M1s are now true, and you see, this is a good M1s are now true. But the fact that this isn't true is what messes up the fact that, Leopard has a one-shot combo, which I won't be ranking it on like I've already said, but it is unfortunate. We got Ice V2, Blizzard Blade damage buff, Piercing Glacier damage buff, Blizzard Blade damage buffed again, and even still, I'm not gonna lie, Ice V2's damage output is just way too low. I don't know what it is about Ice V2. Like, ever since, like, the combo got reduced, like, it's just, like, the damage output just isn't enough to compete with, like, how slow your combo is, if you get what I mean. Anyways, then we have Magma V2. Your M1s are now true with Magma V2. He fixed those. Magma floor in like increased to stop the like 1200 damage combo it had. And Hound Blaze is now cancelable, just like Dodo. So if you just sit there holding Hound Blaze and then you get attacked, it's not gonna go off to stun trade your opponent. Then we got Dragon. Draco meteor damage was nerfed from like 27 to 22. Crimson Bomb stun was nerfed, which still doesn't affect you much if you know how to combo extend off of it. The jump height was fixed on Dragon, so when you block or take damage, you don't like lose your extra increased jump height. Draco Meteor cooldown was increased slightly, which it needed. Draco Meteor is cancelable if you just sit there holding it. And Tatsumaki stun is fixed. That's a lie. You can still spam in the middle of Tatsumaki for some unknown reason. All right, then we have Paw. Paw torture damage buff. Torture is now unblockable. These are some really good paw buffs. Pressure cannon got a range buff, and sumo thrust barrage knockback and nerfed slightly. This helps Paw to be a little bit more consistent, and overall it just makes Paw a little bit nicer as a fruit. I won't lie. Like if you like actually get into Paw, it's a really fun fruit to use. Then we have Flame again. Fire gun now ragdolls victims, and fire gun stun buffed. That's just a little slight buff. Flame is still pretty mid, I won't lie, but I mean it helps. Gravity shoot cooldown increased because you could literally just keep spamming shoot over and over again, and your opponent wouldn't get the chance to move out of a spot, which was extremely dumb. But we also made it to where planetary devastation, if you're within 100 studs of the user, so you have to be really close to the user, it'll become unblockable. So you know, when you see somebody else use planetary devastation, run away, because if you don't run away, you're screwed. All right, then we have TS Rubber. Con Gun travel speed buff, so Con Gun now moves faster. That's the one skill on TS Rubber mode, Gear 4 mode. Culverin stun buffed, and Culverin retracts 2 times faster now, which is insane. And King Kong gun punches 2 times faster now, so it's all really good. Also, Jet Pistol is now cancelable, which means, you know, you might want to start using the mode a little bit more than the base, because I'm not gonna lie, Jet Pistol can get canceled all the way to the top part where like you like actually throw the punch. Next up, we have Phoenix. It got damage nerfs across the board, and the jump height got fixed, which, you know, honestly still overall a buff, because now you have super high jumps with Phoenix, and it is like extremely pressuring, like really, like it has crazy pressure. Next we have Quake. Island Shake stun buff slightly, and Island Shake damage nerf slightly, so now you can basically charge a full-on eruption without your opponent having the ability to dodge it. So you can get about 150 damage off of eruption now off of an Island Shake, or you can try to press them with slam right afterwards, because most of the time people will Soru, and then you can just try to use slam and maybe catch them, maybe. Shambles is now cancelable on Ope. Doesn't really affect them that much, I'm not gonna lie, because as long as you're instantly letting your E go, it's not really gonna affect you. But I mean, if you're one of those dumb people who just sits there holding Shambles for some reason, I guess it'll affect you. Then you also have, you can no longer Shambles with people outside your room. Honestly, I don't know why you could even do that in the first place. That was dumb. Like, why should you be able to teleport somebody on the outside of your room back into your room? It takes 2 seconds to put a new room up. So if you're an OP crying about that, literally learn to put up a new room, bro. It takes 2 seconds. You can block, Soru, and do everything a normal person can do while you're charging your room. Stop complaining. Now we have Bomb. Bomb got some pretty good buffs. Grenade Blaster now has 360 aim. Kick Bomb now unblockable. Leap Stun is reduced, so now you don't have the Bomb Infinite combo anymore, and Leap damage has been nerfed. So overall, Bomb got some pretty good buffs. I'm pretty sure it's pretty strong right now. We have String. String Knight now jumps over ledges. This doesn't work half the time, so I'm gonna be honest with you, String is still like in pretty much the same spot. Then we have Light. Light Kick cooldown increased by 1.5 seconds. You know, Light Kick was hella spammy. It's like extremely hard to avoid. You have Light Flight. Max time increased by 1 second. No idea why the owner did that, but I mean, you can now fly slightly longer with Light. Mirror Kick damage nerfed. Blinding Combo cooldown increased to 15 seconds. Blinding Combo damage nerfed slightly, but now Blinding Combo is now unblockable. You have Guzan damage nerfed, and Jewels of Light stun increased, so your ult is a little bit better now. And then lastly, we have Chop. Festival Ragdoll added, and Festival stun buffed. Screw this Chop buff. It was unnecessary. Screw Chop. All right, anyways, on to the tier list. Unfortunately, my tier list maker website wasn't working. Like, it literally wouldn't let me make a new tier list, so we had to get bootleg with it. And we're on my freaking thumbnail editor, and we have a tier list, and we have a bunch of fruits here, so we'll just go in the order that the fruits are here. First off, we have TS Rubber. I think I'll go ahead and put that down in A tier. I'll resize these to, you know, fit the whatever area I put them in, but I got TS Rubber in A tier. Mode's still pretty strong. Overall, a pretty good fruit. Overall, I do think that it's kind of in a rough spot as a legendary right now, but overall, it still does. It puts in work. I won't lie, it puts in work. It's a iffy legendary for me. It definitely could move up depending on how I rank the rest of the stuff on this list, but for right now, I'll go ahead and put it in A tier. String, low key. I could debate string against TSR now that jet pistol is cancelable. I won't lie. Like you could dead serious debate that, because like now it's like, if a string user gets close to you, jet pistol doesn't save you anymore. And if anything, jet pistol opts you, because like you'll go for the jet pistol and it won't do anything because it's cancelable now. So honestly, I think you could probably argue string above TS rubber depending on how good you are with the fruit, but honestly I don't know for sure, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep string below TS rubber. But I do think if you know for sure that string can beat TSR, you know in your head that it can go above it. But for me personally, I just haven't seen that yet. Z tier, soul's still one of the literal best fruits in the game. It's nowhere near as broken as prime soul was, and even like the first nerf soul, but now soul's actually gotten some pretty good nerfs to where if the soul user doesn't play smart and you're using another one of the high tier fruits, you're probably gonna beat them, especially once they run out of mode. Because once they run out of mode, I'm not gonna lie, that's easy pickings. I ain't gonna lie to you, man, that's easy pickings. But anyways, let's move on to the next fruit. Next we got rubber. Rubber got like no buff, so it's still down here in like D tier. Not gonna do really much in the game right now. Doesn't really like, yeah, it doesn't really put in like work. I'm not gonna lie, nothing too crazy. Actually, I'm moving these down to B tier because I want A tier freed up actually. Next up we have Ope. Ope is a really strong fruit. This is going in S tier for me, not Z tier. I don't think at Ope, like I still think Soul is beating. I think Soul has a slight advantage over Ope. Like the fruits that go in Z tier are going to be the top echelon of fruits with like slight advantages over like everything. But Ope is still a really strong fruit, and I do think obviously you could beat anything that's in the Z tier with something in the S tier, but it's just like overall, like looking at their kits and stuff, I do think Soul is slightly better. Next up we got Magma V2. This is not going to be me taking in the Mygo has 0 stun currently glitch like into account, so currently I'm gonna go ahead and put Magma V2 into A tier. Still a really strong fruit. I do wish that the owner would fix the fact that Mygo has 0 stun right now, but it is what it is. You can really only hope for him to fix it. Next we got Love. Low key, I could get Love above string and TSR currently, especially with jet pistol becoming cancelable. Love is just a really strong fruit, coming with that heal and the auto target heartstrings that kind of force your opponent to get aggressive or do something, and if they sit back, they're going to be eating the damage. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We have Leopard. Not taking the one-shot combo into account. If Leopard's M1s actually work the way they're supposed to, and they didn't combo extend, I'd put Leopard around S tier right here. Pretty good fruit overall. Ope still definitely has the advantage over Leopard in my opinion, but overall still a really strong fruit. But in general, I do think that Leopard is better than anything I'll put in A tier. Next up we have B tier. At the top of B tier, oh okay, how do I want to do this? Because low-key I low-key might put freaking Love above Ice V2. I'm not gonna lie, because like Love can actually apply pressure, and like I don't know, Ice V2 right now, it's in a weird spot for me, right? Ice V2 would be so much better if it actually had the damage output to back up the combos that it can catch, because you'll catch somebody with Ice V2 and just barely be doing a 600 damage combo half the time. Some people claim they have like their 1200 damage combos, yada yada yada. If your combo involves ice skate in the slightest, it's not a true combo. And don't get me wrong, it'll work if you ice skate somebody into a wall. You go for absolute 0 half the time they won't predict it, and yeah, you can get a little cheeky combo off, but more times than not, they will like block it or pop their own iframe skill to like get out of the situation. So for me personally, I'm gonna put Ice V2 at the top of B tier, but I definitely do think you could argue to get this in A tier. Next up, let's see, what is this grab? What is that? A tiny gas fruit? Why is it so small? What the hell? Anyways, we got Nika next. Nika's gonna be in my Z tier. I think I'll put Nika about right here, based off of my placements for in the order, because I do like to do left to right in terms of how good each one is. Anyways, Nika's still an extremely strong fruit. Kaminari still stun trades half the things in the game. The cooldowns are extremely low on things like Dawn Rocket, Spinning Top, and honestly, just Bajrong is one of the hardest hitting ults that you can true combo into the game. So, you know, overall, Nika's kit is still really amazing. I do have it over Ope. I have videos, like, if you want to go watch, if you want to see why I have it over Ope. The only thing that hose Nika against Ope is the fact that Ope Fling exists, where, like, the Ope will just fling nonsensically, like they are literally the incarnation of Nika from freaking One Piece. But, you know, it is what it is. When that's not happening, Gear 5 takes those about, like, 7 times out of 10. But I do think a good Ope has a chance to beat Nika, of course. Next up, we got freaking Venom. After the Chloral Frenzy being blockable nerfs, I won't lie, Venom is definitely dropped in a tier to me. Venom is still really, really, really good, don't get me wrong, but in general, after Chloral Frenzy becoming blockable, it's definitely dropped down in how good it is to me. It's probably gonna be like the bottom of S tier, because I do still think it's better than everything I'm gonna put in A tier, but it's probably gonna be like towards the bottom of S tier. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get some of these like little tiny ones out the way that got shrunk down. Nice. Why does gas look like? Yep, GG guys. We have a pixelated gas because it got shrunk down too small. This is what happens when you have to bootleg your tier list. Gas is a really strong fruit right now. I won't lie. Low key, I could argue gas for beating TSR. I could definitely argue gas for beating TSR. But actually, I could argue gas for beating Ice V2 too. I'm not gonna lie, because even if the Ice V2, like, relaxing gas into the gas combo just goes kind of dummy. I won't lie. But then there's things like freaking like Love, which have ways to like fight off the gas combo, if you know what I mean. So overall, like, just because of like the relaxing gas pressure, I'll put gas at like bottom of B tier or something like that. I do think it can beat anything else in the same category, because that's how I feel about fruits that are in the same category. They have the potential to beat ones in the same category, but, like, you know, if you're lower than the other one, obviously it's gonna be a problem. Most of the time it's gonna be an easier fight for the one higher up. Let me see. Next we got Smoke. Smoke's like a C tier fruit to me. It's not bad. It has pretty decent combos, but combo starting wise, it's kind of rough for Smoke, I won't lie, especially trying to get close to anything that's top tier, because it's going to lose the stun trade like 9 times out of 10. So, you know, overall, Smoke's not bad. It can do pretty well against other low tier fruits, but in general, it's not the best. Next up, we have Falcon. Falcon's pretty good. It can go in the bottom of B tier too. If you're really good with Falcon, you can press somebody in like with an A tier fruit, but it'll be like an extremely hard fight. The one problem that Falcon obviously struggles with is being so close range, but in general, Falcon does take pretty good stun trades, especially with things like Falcon Punch having like one of the longest hold durations into a stun. Then you have your like M1 combos with Falcon. If you know how to do the M1 combos with Falcon, Falcon becomes like a different level of good, but you know, we're not gonna talk about that right now. Next up, we have Goro. With Goro buffs, I'm not gonna lie, I put Goro over Venom. I'm not gonna lie. In general, I think that Goro and Venom are like about even in terms of like the game in general, but as it stands right now, I would put, because I've done the 1v1s of Venom versus Goro specifically, Goro takes that like about like 7 times out of 10. So in general, I would put Goro over Venom currently, but don't take that with a grain of salt, because like I still think a good Venom can beat a good Goro. It's just gonna be like, it's not gonna be like as easy as it used to be. It used to be like Goro takes that like no dip, but now, like, you know, it's like it's a pretty close match, I won't lie. Especially with the lightning palm change, where like the last hit always connects. If you fight a Goro user, you will notice that is such a big change, because half the time it shows you how much you could have been stun traded in the past by freaking Goro users when they get launched off of you by lightning palm. Anyways, next up we got Sand. I'll give Sand B tier. Do I think Sand could beat something like Falcon? I do, but I'm gonna put it in C tier just in general, because of things that like have the ability, anything with the ability to attack in the air and put pressure from the air kind of ruins Sand's strategy of hitting Spada, which is, I'm gonna be honest with you, Sand's like best way to catch somebody off guard. You hit them with Spada, then you throw a Desert Slicer, then you try to close gap, throw your ultimate, maybe throw your swirly whirlpool skill, and that's most of the strats that I see Sands do. But I mean, overall, Sand's still a pretty good fruit, especially with a low Desert Slicer cooldown and the combos that you can pull off. But I mean, hey, overall, Sand's a pretty niche, pretty good common fruit. Next up, we got Quake. I definitely do think Quake is worse than Magma V2 when Mygo stun is working. But overall, Quake is still a really great fruit. It does extremely well against anything that's close range because of the fact that Quake is one of the best stuns in the game in terms of stun trades and such like that. Then you can go ahead and confirm it with any other skill if you're doing it normally. Slam holds it back a lot to me because it's like one of the hardest skills in Quake's arsenal to hit, especially considering how quickly people recover Soru. Then they just double jump Soru, hold a skill in the air. Also, it has a really loud sound cue that makes it really easy to react to, but you know, that it is what it is. Overall, Quake's still not bad, but it is pretty counterable. Next up, we got Phoenix. Low key, I'm not gonna lie, I could argue Phoenix over Goro and freaking Venom. I could argue Phoenix over both of them. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's an easy fight for Phoenix, but if you've ever like fought in a good Phoenix, you'll know how like the movement speed, the jump height, and the pressure that Phoenix can like apply during a fight is an extremely powerful weapon. I won't lie. And it's just overall, I just think that Phoenix is like one of the best legendaries, if not the best legendary in my opinion. But overall, I think you could switch around Goro, Phoenix, and Venom however you'd like to. But I mean, right now, this is how I'm gonna put it. Next up, low-key, I wish I would have put another freaking tier. That way I could have like moved these down to like A tier, and then this could have been like B tier. I wish I would have had another tier, but it is what it is. Next up, we got Paw. Paw is definitely much better after this recent change. I could put this like towards like the bottom of A tier. Yes, I do think it's better than Ice V2. Actually, no, because I have Love below Ice V2, so I don't know. And I do think Love, I definitely think Love is better than Paw, especially with like how Love's kit works. It's like a great counter to how Paw plays. But Paw also has really good counters against Love, so it's like, ooh, Paw is definitely like way better now. But then there's also String too. Ooh, and then there's also T. Yeah, I can't put it too high. Yeah, so I'll just put it down here below String. I do think that Paw is an extremely strong fruit, but I have to put it down here because I have to go off of like what I also ranked other things that are similar to it in terms of like how good it is. So I'll put it down here. That's like a pretty good spot. We have Magnet. The definition of a balanced legendary, I'm not gonna lie. Magnet's not too OP, it's not too trash, it's just decent. Like I like this, like it can put in work against certain fruits and it gets worked by other fruits. It just depends on the player, I won't lie. Next up we have Magma. I'll put Magma below Gas. Magma V1 is pretty mid, I'm not gonna lie. It's like really easily counterable, especially with all the blockable skills. And like, okay, the one skill block breaks now, but like even still pretty easy to avoid. Next up we have Light. Light is definitely going above all those fruits, I'm not gonna lie. Light is like a disgusting fruit, especially with the buffs and nerfs that it just got. It's still really strong. Do I think Light is beating a TS Rubber? I think it's debatable, for sure. TS Rubber is just that low right now because currently Jet Pistol being cancelable allows like so many other fruits to like take advantage of it and just cancel the Jet Pistol and then go like just crazy against TSR. I think the cancelable Jet Pistol did drop it down some. Obviously the mode is pretty good and makes up for it, but I do think the mode needs like one or two buffs to like actually make it like completely worth like the cancelable Jet Pistol. Next up we got Ice V1. Overall pretty mid. I think you could probably argue Ice V1 over Smoke because I've seen some pretty good Ice V1s, but I don't know for sure. So off of what I know personally, I'm gonna keep Smoke above it. But if you know that Ice V1 could be higher, just you know that yourself. Next up we got Gravity. Low-key, Gravity with the buffs. Gravity is disgusting now that people can't just sit right next to you half the time with Planetary Devastation. Obviously there are those fruits that just hold moves that lock them in place and they won't get pulled into the Planetary Devastation, which is still a really hindering factor. But in general, if you know how to use Gravity, it is a really strong, disgusting zoning fruit, especially with the shoot pressure piled on with a launch like perfectly timed for when your opponent tries to unblock and dodge. And there's also just in general your push like taking 3 seconds to become a literal sniper rifle. So in general, I think Gravity, I would put it above Quake in terms of pressure and stuff like that. But you know, let's see. Next up we got Flame, a pretty niche epic, I won't lie. Like this epic is like extremely niche. I'll put Flame about right here. I do think Paw and the rest of these epics are better than Flame. I even think Gas is probably better than Flame, but that's definitely debatable. Yeah, flame is just like, it's just mid. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even want to go into detail on it. It's just mid. All right, next up we got Dragon V2. Dragon V2, I have Dragon V2 and Soul tied, or like no, I have like all these three up here at the top. They're like a triple tied for like best fruit in the game, because none of these fruits gap each other by a significant amount when they 1v1. All of these can put in work against each other, so it's like up to your discretion on like which one of these you're gonna call like the best fruit in the game. There's no real best fruit in the game because all three of these can beat each other pretty evenly and consistently. Then we have Dragon V1. Dragon V1's extremely strong, legendary. I could definitely get it at like the bottom of S tier or like the top of A tier. I'll go ahead and just put it at the top of A tier because it does lack in some areas, like fighting things like freaking DARKXQUAKE. Dragon V1 sucks at it. Like literally sucks at it. You have nothing that can start you in neutral, and now that Draco Meteor is cancelable, you like, even if you just throw that out, they can just avoid it with their iframe skill and such. And then Phoenix still just kind of just goes crazy against Dragon freaking V1, and it's just like things like Leopard and the other fruits do too. You just have to get close, and then you could just win the stun trade half the time. And Tatsubaki's like their really only starting skill. So you know, I'll just put Dragon V1 at the top of A tier. Then let's see, we have Doe. I still feel like Doe is extremely strong. I think Doe is better than Phoenix, though I do think it would be a close match. I definitely think Doe is better than Venom and freaking Goro in my personal opinion, just because of after the Venom nerfs, it's like really easy to counter if you know what you're doing. If they try to do the Chloro into Venom Road strategy, you can Lotus them half the time, or if they're directly above you, they'll probably go for Geyser, which you can't avoid. But like, if you let them get directly above you and then hit a Geyser, that's kind of on you. I ain't gonna lie. Fire a Grill Doe up and you can stop that whole strategy right there, because they'll be stunned for too long to land anything off the Chloro. And even if they go for Venom Road, they'll probably just pass right through you, or you can Lotus if they give you time to hit the ground. Like I'm telling you, Venom has like, it's so easy to counter Venom right now, like with the other mythical fruits. But you know, that's it. I still think that Leopard overall is better than Doe. I do think Doe versus Leopard, Doe takes that more times than not. But in general, I do think overall, with the Rokugan being able to trade half the things in the game, with you having good reaction time and it won't get canceled, I think Doe is one of the best fruits in the game. Let me delete this extra Doe, which is here for some reason. Next up we have DARKXQUAKE. I'd give DARKXQUAKE top of S tier. I'd have it tied with Ope, because I feel like this fight can go literally either way depending on the skill of the person. I don't think it's up here with these fruits up here. I think all of these are better than DARKXQUAKE for sure, like if you know how to play. Soul just literally counters the fruit. Dragon V freaking 2, it's just, ooh, if you know how to use Bolo Frenzy correctly, they're not gonna touch you half the time. And even if they get near you with their little 2-skill iframe, you can just use Beast Bellow, and that like completely just launches them away from you. And if you're Gear 5, you can just use Kaminari to trade it, and the DARKXQUAKE won't really get anything off of it. The one thing I will say is like Gear 5 having the counter of Gigant also completely ops like the freaking Quadra Sea Quake, and freaking you can land Quadra Sea Quake pretty consistently against a Dragon V2 because they don't have a way to avoid it for real. I definitely think you could argue this or bottom of Z tier, but I don't think it's tied with these fruits, so that's why it's going to get top of S tier. Next up we have Regular Dark. Regular Dark is actually pretty strong, and it's like a really strong combo right now, which needs to get patched. I'm not gonna lie, it does like I'm pretty sure like for against people who like suck at the game, it's like a pretty easy one-shot combo, I won't lie. But in general, overall, Dark is like pretty good, especially with people like actually using it now, since they're trying to grind for DARKXQUAKE. It's opened up a lot of people's eyes to, you know, actually trying to use the fruit and, you know, seeing how actually well it works. So overall, I think Dark just in general, it's not a C tier. I don't know why it's down here. I'm just like trying to see where I want to put it. Overall, I'd say I'd put Dark about right here above Flame. Yeah, just like right here above Flame, because Dark does really well. Actually, no, I'll put Flame above it. I'm not gonna lie, I'll put Flame above it. But actually, no, I won't. No, I won't. The iframe on Dark Hall is actually like really good, like really good. But it's super easy to punish with any fruit that's like in a tier above, I won't lie. But overall, Dark is pretty strong. Personally, I think Gas might probably still be stronger, but you know, I mean, hey man, that's just my personal opinion. Let's see how many we got left. Okay, we got Barrier still obviously a really good fruit. You guys have seen me do my Barrier 1v1s. Barrier is like really cracked, I won't lie. Why did I just move the actual tier list? Let's see, I'll move this group of fruits over some. I think Barrier does have the potential to be better than gas. I think overall though, it's like a back and forth between the two. I think barrier can beat dark, but I don't know for sure. I'll say that barrier and dark are interchangeable depending on what you think, but I think barrier probably beats flame though. Then we have bomb after the buffs is really strong. Unfortunately, there's a bug where like you can block in the middle of kick bomb, which kind of holds it back, I won't lie. But overall, even with that, bomb stuns are disgusting on like grenade blaster, because you can literally true combo grenade blaster into howitzer impact, and howitzer impact is unblockable, and sometimes it's kind of hard to dodge, but sometimes it's really easy to dodge. It's a really inconsistent move. So in general, I think I'll give bomb around, let's see, I'll give bomb like right below gas. Yeah, bomb right below gas is a good enough ranking for me. And then we have this filthy piece of garbage last, which is gonna get ranked in the filthy piece of garbage category. Actually, I don't even think I want to see this filthy piece of garbage on my tier list, so this filthy piece of garbage is getting deleted off my tier list. Anyways, guys, this is pretty much my completed tier list for the video. Tell me where you guys would like to see some interchange things. Obviously, I know everybody's not gonna agree completely with my tier list, and honestly, I'm probably not gonna completely agree with my tier list in about like 2 weeks from now. Who knows? I think like some of this stuff can be interchanged, but I think for the most part it's mostly accurate. Anyways, guys, and also like I'm serious about the Venom thing. Don't take it as garbage just because it's at the bottom of S tier. It's still a good fruit. You just have to use your brain like heavy when you're using this fruit, because it doesn't win many stun trades. But anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the balance changes in tier list video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.